Welcome back to Kpop Talks, and today we're gonna do another tier list. Last time it was girl groups, and this time it is boy groups. I was like browsing a little bit, watching which ones were the one that I wanted to talk about, and some of them I don't recognize, or even if I know about, I don't really know about too much. So compared to the last one that we did, I've decided to add a couple of what was this that I had here. This was great, I think. Okay, so let's do this. A couple of extra tiers and change a couple of things, right? So let's start from the first. Goat status, the best of the best, discography, obviously, popularity and all of those things. It's a complete package. Great. Just I think a little bit underneath goats. Really good. A pretty good group, but you're not at that level yet, or maybe you will never be. Good, you're a solid group, you're above average, and then you have average, then we have underrated and overrated, and then we have bad and underutilized. I decided to put them together because sometimes certain groups, it's not just their fault, it's also their company that kind of sets them really behind compared to the industry. And so even though I want to criticize the companies and or the group per se, I have to also take that into account, which is their bad management. And then we have obviously don't know, don't listen. I added the don't listen because even though I might know the group, I don't really listen to them at all, so I prefer to put them down and not lie to your faces about what I believe about them. But I think for the most part I'm gonna be alright. So let's just get right into it. Remember, if you like this type of videos, like, comment and subscribe. It will really help the channel, and just let's go. We start with NCT 127. I would say NCT 127 is great. They are one of the best, I think probably the best NCT unit. I think they're the most interesting. They're always fresh. They always bring different concepts, different styles. They also tend to dare a little bit with their personal, with the style of the group. They never really try to be like a, they never really kind of chicken out from trying different sounds and different, more of experimental kind of K-pop music. Apart from that, it's an enjoyable subunit, in my opinion. Still prefer NCTU overall, but it's great. They're undeniably great, and it's not like they've really gotten worse in the last 4 or 5 years. It's pretty impressive in my opinion. And then we have NCT Dream, who good to good. Now, before they've changed their concept, I would have put them in average, but I think they deserve to be good. They make good music, and now it's, I think, a full year of them making pretty good music. So maybe in the future they'll go up, but for now they deserve to be here. Also because, listen, I like this new change they've done. It works for me, but I think that what NCT Dream was supposed to be, they just completely decided to remove that, and they decided to become another NCTU/127, which is fine. But again, if you were going to do the concept of graduation and introduce younger people to the NCT Dream concept, I think it could have been interesting to see that into the K-pop industry and how fans would have reacted. This is the third or maybe the second time that Lee Soo-man tried to introduce the concept of graduation, but he never really actually acted on it. So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to do it in the future before he ends up selling the company, because he intends of selling. He's 70, he's by far the oldest of the big three, even big four if you want to consider P. Bang. He's by far the oldest, so it will be interesting to see if he's gonna do it or not. I think it would be cool to see younger people entering in NCT Dream, and then people going to other units, and then when these people get into a certain age and want to move on to other things, they can graduate and do other things. That could be interesting to see in K-pop. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it would be cool to see. New Kid, I don't know. New Town Boys, I don't know. Noir, I mean, I've heard sort of the songs. I think they're average. They're not a bad group by any means. RNG, have barely listened to them. Newest, I think Newest is really good. They're partially, I think, also underrated. I feel like prior to 101, nobody knew who they were. But I think after 101 and after their member got in and got popular and came out, they've really shown what they're able, and they've always been there. Of course, this year they've disbanded, which eventually happens to everybody. But I think that Newest left a very deep mark, specifically the second part of their existence. So 2017 onwards, they really became a great group, a group that you can look up to and be proud of. But even before that, I think they were good, and actually I would recommend, if you're an NUS fan from recent years, go and check their early stuff. There's some pretty good stuff in there, in my opinion. I can't recognize this symbol, unfortunately. ONEUS. I think ONEUS is another really good group. They were a little bit up and down, I think, in 2022 for 2021 for me personally, but great group, great concept. They'll always try different styles, different ideas, and I think they really do stand out in this latter batch of fourth generation groups. They really do stand out a lot, in my opinion. So they're really good and they're fun to listen to, and I never get tired of listening to them. So for me, they're a really, really good group. ONEWE. I think ONEWE is severely underrated. It's one of these things that I've discovered recently as well. And I'm like, how could I never knew? Because if I remember correctly, let me check. ONEWE debuted in 2015, right? I've been listening to Kpop since 2013, and I've never heard of them. And if maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but it might have been like a momentarily thing. But I don't remember them at all. And this group is so good. They're one of the few alternative K-pop, K-rock groups that I really enjoy. K-pop/K-rock groups that I really enjoy, and I think they play that style very well. And you should definitely check them out because they're too fucking good to be almost unknown, unfortunately, in not only in Korea but let alone in the West. ACE. I think ACE is an average group overall. They can be sometimes really good stuff, sometimes less interesting stuff. They are just there, they exist, and I don't hate them, but I don't care about their music at all. It's the reality. On and Off, I think they might have disbanded. Am I wrong? I don't know if they might have disbanded, but I haven't heard music from them for I think a couple of years. I think since the start of the pandemic. I don't know if last year they released anything. Maybe they did, but I just feel like I don't remember them really. They're just boring. Only One Of. I think they're average. People, I think, kind of like overhyping them a little bit. They have some good qualities to them, good vocals. Definitely they do different styles, but again, to me at least, they don't really impress me as much as maybe other groups in their own like sphere right now. They don't really impress me at all. Pentagon. I think they're a great group. I'll admit, I think their first year was subpar. Quality of music, specifically for a Cube entertainment group, I think it was subpar. But since they've allowed their members to produce and write their own stuff from that moment on, they never stopped. Obviously, shine onwards. Incredible group. They had a little bit of a dip after the Yun Dawn scandal, but after that, they went back to where they were. And last year, they had one of the best EPs of the year, in my opinion. And I just don't see it changing. They're a really good group. Their younger members who weren't getting a lot of attention, or even foreign members. Now they're stable and they add something to it, right? It's somewhat like similar to Peniel, where originally in B2B he only used to do very small parts, and now he's, a couple of years later he was like consistently in their music, specifically in their albums. So definitely listen to Pentagon. I think you're never gonna regret at least anything in terms of quality of music. I think it's very hard to go into any of their project and be disappointed in that sense. I don't know, Platinum, Rainzy I might have heard of, but I don't think I've ever heard anything from them. Similar Road Voids, Romeo, I think they're just bad. I don't remember where I applied. Sex Keys. I think Sex Keys, I think they're great. I don't know if they're gold stars. I mean, they were only around, I think, for 3 years, right? I mean, they achieved a lot of things in terms of numbers, but I mean, regardless of that, I mean, I think they've had more impacted side of Sex Keys than anything else. And even if I compare them to other groups from their era, whether it was HOT, GOD, for example, I've always preferred these other groups compared to them. And Sex Keys had some things going on for them, but I don't know, to me, they mean, like, of course, if you want to be like more general term, they are goats because they are like, early. They are the early people that made K-pop popular as a genre outside of Korea. But if I have to look at it compared to the entirety of the genre, the quality of their music and everything, they go a notch down below, unfortunately, because even though they have the success to be goats, I don't think the music is there, in my opinion. I think Sotage and the Boys, they're goats. Now, with Sotage and the Boys, I think it's somewhat different, where they were never as popular as Six Keys, but I think, if I remember correctly, I mean, they were very popular, but their music was hella influential, and the members of the group ended up being the masters of K-pop the next 10, 15 years, and shaping what K-pop was and sounded, in the future. So they're goats. Obviously, Sotoji himself, I think he's still in SM. Maybe, I'm not sure if he's still in SM or not. But, he, molded a lot of the sounds we heard in K-pop in the mid-2000s. He has to be there, just himself, let alone everybody else. Which, again, I don't know if I'm forgetting somebody. Let me check. Yes, because I know he was in there. Yes. YG himself, but Lee Juno. But I don't know what Lee Juno has done, honestly. I think apart from music, he's never done anything else, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Obviously, YG and Sotaji were like legends. You have YG himself. And Sotaji, they've changed music. Sotaji maybe more behind the scenes, and YG has made K-pop, cool, which is crazy to say, but he made it cool. You have to give him credit. Don't know. I think this is very, very right. Is this 7? No, this is not 17, right? What is this symbol? Holy shit. I think this is very, very. Pretty sure this is very, very. No, it can't be anything else, I think. Let me check. No, this is very, very. So is this 17? I think this is 17. Let me check. 17 logo. Yes. So it is 17. Goats. Well, I think, arguably the most consistent boy group ever. Great music, consistently different styles. They've made themselves, legends, without never really overly cross-songing in the West. It's not like they've ever had a billion views song, or like they've had months, and these early songs, Ajunice, that have went viral in Korea, and subsequently went viral also with the Western fan base. But with I Don't Wanna Cry and All That Wave, they became more global, but they've never became Blackpink, Red Velvet, Twice, or Big Bang or Shine, or any of these groups. So they existed, and I think this is a classic example of what I've always believed, which is you can be huge in Korea, have a huge Western fan base, and be an iconic group. You don't have to necessarily cater to Western fan base. If you're good, you will get your chance to shine, and I think 17 has done it, and they keep doing it, and I don't see how they're gonna really stop doing it, as long as you hope Pledis doesn't fuck it up, which is always a chance that they might do the wrong thing overall. SF9, I think they're a good group. To me, at least, they're very up and down. Sometimes they make good stuff, sometimes they make very uninteresting, sometimes even bad stuff, but I think they're a solid group, and they deserve to be, I think, where they are, in my opinion. Shiny, Goats, I don't even discuss about it. One of the best groups of all time, one of the most interesting, alternative, forward-pushing, progressive, in any sense, K-pop group ever. Shiny is like FX for boy groups. They've came with different style, a small group in an era where a lot of groups had 10 members, 7, 8 members. They've came around with 5, and they will change, what do you call it, like fashion, sound, concept of songs, aesthetics, and the members are icons themselves in the industry. Obviously, we'll never forget Jonghyun, who's one of the greatest vocalists, Mino, one of the most important figures in Korea, but pop culture, but a great leader. Ki, one of the most funniest, one of the most interesting people ever, and Taemin, one of the most interesting all-around artists we have in Korea right now. So definitely they deserve to be there in their albums. I mean, they've dropped last year 2 albums that, if I made the top 30, it would have been both in it, but I didn't want to put 2 albums from the same artist. Shiny has never stopped doing good stuff, which is impressive since they've been around since 2008. This is, I think, their 13th/14th year. It's crazy, Shinhwa, I think Shinhwa deserves to be goats, yes. one of the most. I think they're still active. Maybe I'm not sure if Shino is still active, but they were active till like 2017, 2018. I don't know if Shino is still active. Yeah, they retired in 2014. Oh no, it was 2014. But I just, yeah, they're never gonna disband, I feel. But yeah, iconic group. I don't think there's any more to say. I think they were one of the first ones to cross over to Japan. I might be wrong, but I think that might be the case. And obviously, one of these groups that, I think, shaped K-pop into what it is today. Obviously, it has evolved from there, but, Shinra was the first prototype. There were kind of like Super Junior, groups that have set up a standard for what it meant to be a long-term group in the industry. Don't know. I think this is Snooper. Bro, I don't like Snooper, I'm sorry. Spectrum, Speed, I think I've heard a couple of songs, but nothing more. This one I don't know, but I feel like I should. Ajax, they're alright. I think Stray Kids is a good group. They produce a lot of their stuff, they obviously have a very clear aesthetic. But at this point, it has gotten kind of like mechanic. After 4 years, it has gotten mechanic. The first series was a lot of novelty, but I think after that, the mechanic part of their production, their style has came around, and there hasn't been really an evolution. But they're a stable group in the industry, and obviously they have big numbers. And I think their discography is good. But I don't think it really does stand out as much as people think, even in this era, in my opinion. Like, there's too many good groups now compared to 2018 or even 2019, where, in the newer groups, it was only you and maybe another couple. They might not be even around today. So, I think there was them 8 kids at the time, if I remember correctly, and there was like starting to pop off. Maybe I think One Us came out a couple of years later, but regardless, now it's harder, and I think it's harder for them to stand out musically because there's a lot of other groups that do very well. Pentagon is one, NCT is another one, Monsta X, which I'll talk about later, is definitely in there as well. So it becomes harder for them to really, and younger groups obviously out there as well. We talk about like Luminous debuted last year. I think really stands out. Like, it becomes harder with time, so hopefully they evolve as well musically, or they'll just start getting boring to me, which like Twice did. But Twice, at least, the EPs were never like one thing about Twice you can never say is that they were never consistent. They were always consistently really good. Stray Kids, I think for me at least, they're hit or miss, but I mean, their numbers speak for themselves. I think the discographies could be way better, and I think it doesn't really hold compared to other groups above them. Super Junior, I think they're goats. I was surprised, right, when I heard Super Junior old stuff like recently, and how much it still holds very well. Yes, of course, it sounds like a 2000 songs, a lot of them, but they do sound nice. Their singing is good. The lyrics are fine. They're catchy. The production is cool. It's not obnoxious, and they're one of the most iconic groups ever. They've changed the game for everybody. They've showed what it means to be a longevity group, following kind of like that Arashi blueprint where we go and do our separate things and then we come back and make music and like that, right? It's not like we're always doing stuff together. And they were the first one to do it pretty much not from the start, but like almost very early. And they've tried also the graduation, like the bringing new people, and it didn't work. Whether it was Chinese members or like younger members, it didn't really work. But to me, when you talk about the history of boy groups, Super Junior has to be there. It can never be removed. To me, Super Junior is like, not mentioning, Girls' Generation for me, or if you're not mentioning maybe, I don't know, slightly older group, maybe 21. You cannot never not mention these groups, and I think they have to be mentioned for how important they are for the industry and how important they were for the genre. Teen Top, I feel like Teen Top is overrated. They had that couple of year run, but it was empty, didn't they? It led nowhere. Pasha, it was the company's fault, but I've read a lot of things, and apparently also the guys didn't really like each other. There was a lot of like jealousy and stuff like that. So it's a sad story, but there's millions of stories like this in the entertainment industry, let alone in the music one. The East Light. I think they were somewhat underutilized, honestly. The boys, they're average, they're solid. Then they don't really go too high, too low. They're there. It's a solid 6 out of 10 every time from them. I don't know. I don't think I know. The Rose. I don't like The Rose. I think The Rose is bad. It's bad rock music for me. Overly edgy, too pretentious. Same chords, same like progressions we've heard in rock for the last 40 years. So, no. App6, really good. I think they're somewhat underrated as well, but their discography is amazing. They're a group that has a strong culture in their company, which I didn't expect it to be, but they have, kicking their leader immediately for one mistake was crazy, especially DUI, which in Korea it's not the worst thing ever since everybody drinks, and it seems like, at least perception-wise for me, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like it's like one of these things that's like less like on the hate list of people, unless you kill somebody or anything. I don't think people really care too much, or maybe they're mad but they're not as mad. But I feel like the company ended up firing him immediately. It was actually something that I respect. I think it was early in the pandemic, and I remember thinking to myself, it takes a lot of balls to do that, and they did that. Congratulations to them. Non so che cosa è questo. What is this? You actually don't know what is this. Am I supposed to know? Top Dog. I don't know. Sorry guys. Don't know. TXT. I think they're already really good. Just because of the quality of their music. I could have never said that after their debut. I didn't like their debut. I thought their EP was fine, but after that, they've been on an incredible going up. Didn't love their last EP, but still respect the fact that they've tried something different, and that's fine for me. They really have a strong style, and they don't sound anything like BTS, which is the best thing that I think happened to them, really. They're popular, but I think people overestimate a little bit their popularity. Like, oh my god, they've pre-ordered 1.7 million. Like, most people buy these albums, specifically now with big hit groups, like, considering how big hit is. A lot of people buying them even just for the photos, not even the music itself, since actually there's a lot of trading going on with these pictures, I question when they will start making, like rarities in these pictures, so people will start trading them and stuff like that for like more money. It'll be interesting to see. Turbo were great, but a little bit boosted in their importance because of Kim Jong-ok and his popularity on television in Korea in the last 30 years, but they were great for their era. TVXQ, they were great as well. Too many things have went through the group that it's like hard, so like if I had to consider the entirety of its existence, they're popular for like 3 or 4 songs, and again, I think TVXQ has become a solid group, but early on they were merely a single group, so they were great. They're not Super Junior, they're not Shiny, they're not Shinhwa, they're not 17, they're not Soteji in my opinion, so they go there. So, wait, this is not TXT, so what is this? Okay, so this is TXT. So what is this TST? What is this? I don't know, I'm sorry, I thought this was TXT. But it's TST, I don't know. Yukis, they were average. They always were average. It's true. Don't know. UNB, where have they went? I have no idea. Uni, like, I've heard like probably a couple songs. Don't remember. Attention, I think they're a good group. I think they're somewhat underrated actually. I like Attention quite a bit. Vanner, they've always been overrated in my opinion. Same thing I think for VAV, always overrated group. Very, I think they're really good as well. They've had a shaky start. I thought originally when they made the change to more of an edgy concept, I was like, oh, here we go again, another group that's just gonna do everything that any other group does, and instead I've been completely surprised. Great vocals, great concepts, fun music, and they are never boring. And they play very good with the balance of being themselves, but still experimenting enough where it never feels like you're giving me the same thing, a la Blackpink, a la Momoland, sometimes 17 like a couple of years ago, Mamamoo a couple of years ago. Like every great group has went through that, but surprisingly, they're one of the few that hasn't from the newer generation. I mean, GL doesn't have a group that suffers from that, I think, but just hats off to them, really good. Vermouth, I think I've heard like one song. I'm just gonna put him here. Victon. I think Victon is. I think they're underrated. Yes, I think it's an underrated group. Vix, Goats, 100%. One of the most polyedric, interesting concept. They're true concept idols. It's never been done before or after. True concept idols. We have a concept. Our concept this fucking year is pumpkins, and everything about the albums will make you feel like you're in a pumpkin. You make you feel like you are a pumpkin. Everything fits, and you did that with every sort of concept, from more edgy, less edgy stuff, more ethereal, philosophical concept. So again, they have some of the most beautiful MVs ever, one of the most creative groups ever, and they have a group that truly stands the test of time. No more to say. Vix is a good group, and it's an underrated group. I think Vix is somewhat like FX, where Vix obviously less popular than FX all time in terms of just success and everything, but nobody ever talks about Vix when it comes to great groups. It makes no sense in my opinion, partially because, again, when did they start getting into the military? When Kpop was going like this in 2018, 2019, everybody started going into the military, so that was done. But regardless of that, Vix, a go-to group, probably them and BTS and Big Bang, they're my 3 favorite boy groups ever. Anyway, let's keep going. I think, is this 24K? I don't think this is 24K, right? Is this Winner? No, this is Winner. What is this? I don't know. 101. I thought 101 was really good. They weren't IOI, but they were really good. They stood the test of time. They've all been successful in the industry, and it really revived their careers and their group's career. And you have Asungwa, I said most of you have Kang Daniel, you have Newest who went in a really good run. Like everybody has everybody has benefited from 101, similar to IOI. And after that, it's been like this. We have to see with Eyes On, they might like make me eat my words. I don't believe they will, but let's see how they do. But just in terms of music, impact, importance, how everything felt natural. Chef Kiss by myself. Great 101. Really good. Can't put them in great though, because again, I don't think they've had the cultural impact that IOI had. I felt like IOI was everybody knew about IOI, everybody loved them, all the music, they were everywhere. It's hard to understand it because the numbers are not what they are today in K-pop, but it's like, imagine a group comes out, has a billion view song, everybody knows them, everybody listens to them, they're liked, everybody's liked in that group, and everybody goes into having incredible careers. And again, I saw you 101 doing great, but again, you have Somi, you have Chunga, you have Sejong, you have WJSN, you have Wakimeki, you have people who are solid now, regular actors in movies and TV shows. It becomes hard to compare. Winner, I think they're a great group. I haven't been the biggest fan of Winner's music the last couple of years, but I think people forget how good Winner was, really, from debut, even when they used to be a 5-member group. Great group. Somewhat, again, like Vix, somewhat forgotten, like FX, somewhat. If it wasn't for Mino and having success in Show Me the Money, and also like New Journey to the West, which set him into national stardom, I feel like people would have forgotten about the group a lot. And I think YG cared about them a lot because he always kept them active even when they weren't really successful. So yeah. Don't know. What the fuck is this? Z-Boy Z-Girls, I don't know. I actually think I know Z-Boy Z-Girls, but anyway, let's put them here. I feel like they're alright. They stay here. Don't know what is this. Argon. I think they're completely been thrown away. I don't know where they are. When was the last time Argon had a comeback? Let me check. It was 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, again, I wasn't a fan of their music, but they ever had a. I mean, did this band? Let me check. Did this band? Oh, so they did this band. So I was right about it. Their company just forgot, just holds them back. I don't know, maybe because of the pandemic, they didn't want to invest in them. But they were having some momentum. I didn't like any of the stuff they released, but you know, you have to feel bad about them. So they're both bad and underutilized. Definitely, maybe the company's fault because they could have grown a lot. I think, especially under the pandemic. You know, at least release content, make them go to television, do radio. Like, anyway, let's keep going. I think I know this group, but I can't think of the name. Something's, I don't know. I don't remember, guys. Astro. They became a good group. I don't think Astro is a great group or a really good group. Oh my god, their music, but they become really good. They were able to turn Chanwon's success into a group success, and that's great. By the way, their best stuff is their unit stuff. It's been Sana and can't think of the other guy name. Fuck me. I can't think of it. Oh my god, I'm sorry, but their music has been great. And again, they're a solid group where I enjoyed their music early on. To me, it was okay and forgettable. So they've improved and they became a good group. No, 80s. I wanna say 80s is overrated because I believe 80s is partially overrated. But they're successful and I think their quality of music is undeniably solid. It's actually good. So I think they're a good group. Astro, Stray Kids, strong groups that do their own stuff. They're all in here, but they don't really, to me at least, this is taste, right? Because I prefer App 6 over Astro, so they'll go, or like 80, so they'll go up. But yeah, they're good. I can't deny that. I don't see a lot of the hype around the 80s for the most part, even though they sometimes still drop some crazy good songs, you know. Don't know. B1A4 is a great group. Forgotten. Another group like Vix. I mean, and the more I'm making this one, and the more I'm realizing how many underrated like groups from like the mid 2010s are like somewhat underrated. Like nobody remembers B1A4. It's crazy. They had one of the best songs of the year last year, which was Like a Dream. I think already one of the best songs of the 2020s. Like, why is nobody talking about this? But anyway, you know, those songs by B1A4, I wish probably maybe talked about them a little bit more. Great music, evolved incredibly well. A group that have a lot of things going on, but those had a lot of unity, you know, and there was weird times, but these weird times entering to good times, and I'm just happy where they are. You know, a company that stayed true to their industry, to their team, a group that a group that stayed true to their company and vice versa. The company never let them go. They never, underutilized them and never treat them like shit, which is good in this industry. In my opinion, it's really good. This is Beast, no? I don't think I'm wrong. I think this is Beast. Great group. I think somewhat a fundamental group of that second generation of idols. You know, a group from a smaller company that came and like pushed the boundaries of the genre. It was cool to see. Great. Unfortunately, all that bullshit with Cube, Highlight, and all that bullshit. But yeah, incredible group in my opinion. BAP, I think they were really good. They've had a short run of Beast, and I think also they had overall worse music than Beast, but they're also a really good group. I feel like I know this. This is not Apex. What is this? Oh, I feel like I should know this group. Boy groups by symbols. Let me check. I feel like I know this group, bro. Let me check. Oh, my email. No, I mean, I can't think of anything, right? Like twice shiny velvet. This is icon in city also for amici. Sarà Espa, una io Sangbank 21. Jeez. Boa. Yeah, then. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't find it, unfortunately. I feel like I know that. What is? DST? What the fuck is DST? I actually do not know what DST is. I don't know them. Really? Interesting. I don't know the other. Let me check for a second. Because obviously this person got in a lot of the logos from here, so maybe I can find it. What is it looking like again? I'm not gonna waste so much time on this if I don't find it. Let me check for that in a sec. I feel like I should know this, bro. I feel like I should know all of these. Why don't I know them? It's not Block B and not some of these. And is this? What is that logo? Is it? It's not EX. It can't be EXID. I can't think of it. I'm sorry. I just can't. So, yeah. Don't know. I don't think I know. Big Man Goats. I think might be the greatest group of all time. Little male theme. I think they might be the best. With arguably the greatest K-pop album of all time, which is Made, which is always incredible. Actually, it's incredible how good it is. Black Six. I think they're pretty good, actually, but I'll put them in here. It's what deserves to be. Don't know. Block B, I think they're so much underrated as well. Historically, they're very, very important. Don't know BNF. I think this is Boyfriend. They've always been overrated to me. I never liked them. I just saw this logo a second ago. No. I literally, like, legit a couple seconds ago. What was it? Oh, sorry, like. Boys Republic. They're bad. Don't know. B2B Goats. I think one of the best discographies in K-pop easily. BTS Goats. Even though I think the last couple 2-3 years of music have not been great. In fact, I would say they've been really mediocre. It's not just their success and their influence. I think it's their early music was fundamental in K-pop till 2017. It's fundamental K-pop music. CIX, really great group. They've not been around for a long time, but they're really great. Their music is insanely good. It's really, really good from every aspect of production. lyrics, singing, concept. The albums are all incredible. There's rarely skippables, but they're underrated as well, unfortunately. CM Blue, overrated. I don't know why people think there's something. They've never been anything popular, yes, but no. Cross G, no. Average at best. Day 6, I think average at best. I should know this, but I don't remember. I should know this, but I don't remember. Like both this I should know. But specifically this, I should definitely know. But anyway, Don't Kids, I think they're good. Drug Restaurant, I mean, I've heard a couple of songs, they seem good, can't lie. Epic High, Goats, 100%. EXAO, Goats, one of the greatest groups of all time. Fifty Island, a little bit better than CNF Blue in my opinion. GOD, I think they're Goats. I do believe that. They brought a different style of K-pop. Golden Child, they became a good group. GOT7, I think they're great. I don't think they have the discography these guys have, and I think they were never able to go to the next step. But I think, unfortunately, they've gotten with time overshadowed by their really popular idols, such as Jackson and Bam. At one point, they've became the Bam Bam and Jackson show, not because of their fault, but I just think that's how people perceive them. I think their company perceives them that way, and you can see it with the numbers that Bam Bam and Jacksons are doing, and you look at the others. I think you have your own answers to that question. 24K, really underutilized in my opinion. I don't know. I should know, but I don't know. I should know, I don't know. Hot Shot. They're good, really good. Really good. Icon, great. I think so much underrated into this industry. In fact, they were bad. 2AM, overrated. I'm 2-8, I mean they were average as fuck, but let's put them here. Infinite. Great, not GOAT, great. INX, people forget how good Infinite was, because their prime was when K-pop was only listened by a very small fraction of Western people. Incredible group, to say the least. JBJ, it's such a throne, like impossibility, it's crazy. Don't know. JYJ, same thing. KNK, same thing. Don't know. 2PM, pretty good. But they've never been, I think, to the level of the other guys. Average, Limitless, Luxus, don't know. Lucente, don't know. Infected, don't know. I know this logo, but I can't think of the group. I know this logo is. Oh, why can't I think? I know this logo. This logo is super popular, bro. I know this logo. I'm sorry, guys, but I know this logo. I know this group is really good. I can't think of their name, but I know this group is really good. I'm just gonna put them there, but they're really good. Mont, I think good. People underrate Mont a lot. They're very, very talented artists. Mad Town, I mean, they were, I think, a little bit overrated even for their time. Don't know. 1 the 9. I mean, is 1 the 9 still around? I can't say they were bad, but is 1 the 9 still around? They're not around anymore, right? Yeah. I don't think, yeah. What are they doing now? I didn't just. Oh, I just be. Oh my god. Oh, right. They're in the new groups. I forget this. So, I mean, if it's like. I mean, what did I put it? I lost it. They were not bad. And Black. I think they're underrated, actually. Most like Goats. Extreme Consistency, don't care. Don't know. I know, but they're bad. And Flying, I think they've become really underrated. They became a pretty solid group. Don't know. NCTU, great. Similar to 127. And to finish, Surprise, I do not know. So there's definitely certain like logos I don't recognize. Like, for example, I don't recognize this logo here, which I should know. I don't recognize this logo here, which I should know. This one I definitely know, but I can't recognize it. I think my top has stayed relatively the same. I don't think it has changed. Again, I think this way is the most objective way we can go. Compared to the female one that I've done, there was definitely more goats, I think. If memory doesn't hold me wrong. There was also, I think, a lot of average stuff. Also because more girl groups have been debuted in recent history, if I remember correctly, than male groups. I could be wrong. But yeah, I think this is a fair list. You definitely have to have Big Bang Exos. I think Sotage in the Boys definitely 17, Shiny, Jody. It's up to debate. Epic Eye, it's up to debate. BTS, B2B, it's up to debate. I think they are, but you can think differently. Shino, I think they should be there. Super Junior should be definitely there. VIX is not debatable. Same thing for Monster X. I think you can debate GOT7 for GOAT. Similar TVXQ, similar winner. I think if you wanna argue 2PM, 101, bro, you wanna argue what fucking else? There's nothing else I think you can argue. You can't argue Stray Kids. I think you can argue Stray Kids is great, but again, I also use discographies. I just don't think Stray Kids discography is as good as any of these groups, and I've criticized the GOT7 discography a lot, but at least they've done different things throughout their careers. Stray Kids has been a lot of the definition of a one-trick pony. Anyway, it's 46 minutes. I'm not gonna cut anything on this. I don't give a fuck. I'm uploading this tomorrow raw. If you liked it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And see you next time. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.